How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we have a new deck that I've been waiting for the cards to arrive in the mail for so long, and it's finally here. We have the pure Kashtira deck. Before we begin, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new as always, and I'm really excited about this. I've been testing this on Dueling Book a little bit during the last week or so. It's really impressive, it's really fun to play, and it could be very explosive. This is not just a Kashtira deck, as you saw in the thumbnail. This is a Kashtira, Necro Valley, Adventurer, Dogmatica, Turbo. Wait, 95% of you are not subscribed? Come on, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe if you are new for more awesome content. If you want 5% off any single or sealed product and want to support me and the channel, head over to tier0games.com and use code GALZO5 at checkout. So what I want to do is show you the deck profile, of course, and then I do want to show you a god hand of what this deck can do with all the engines. And it's not really rare that you open one piece of every engine, just to show you how strong these cards are. Of course, Photon Hypernova is going to bring everything up, because this is going to be the deck to beat. So if you do consider buying some of these cards right now, head over to tier0games.com, use code GALZO5 at checkout to get 5% off your order. I would really recommend, especially Kashtira Unicorn, which we'll talk about, getting these soon. So, and of course, yeah, I mentioned that we're going to do a test hand at the end of the video. Let us begin. So we have the Kashtira engine, Fenrir. If you don't know, this card searches for any Kashtira monster, including itself. Unicorn, which is the other three of, searches for a spell, and the spell is very good. You're gonna see that as well. Ogre searches for a trap. We're playing one of Ogre and one of the trap. Then we're playing 3 Kashtira Birth, which is the spell that Unicorn searches for, and I'll explain what everything does in a little bit. And we are playing the Kashtira Preparations. So, what does this deck even do? You have the Xyz, which is called Kashtira Shangri-Ira. This is a rank 7, and every time that a card your opponent controls, or in their deck, extra deck hand, is banished face down, you select a zone, either a spell trap zone or main monster zone on the field, and it becomes unusable. So they cannot use that zone ever, as long as this card is on the field and is not negated. And the second effect is that you basically summon a Kashtira monster from the deck every standby phase. This also has protection. You can remove or detach a material to protect it from battle or card destruction. So this is like the boss, 0-3000. You just put it, you slap it into your extra monster zone in defense, and it's really good. So how does this synergize? Each one of them has an effect that banishes face down. So again, you just summon a bunch of them, your opponent does stuff, you banish cards from their deck, hand, or extra deck face down, and then you block zones your opponent controls indefinitely, and it's not once per turn. So with a good hand, you can block 4 zones, so you leave them with 1 monster zone, if they just activate like 1 effect on their turn. And you can do that on your turn as well, without having them to activate anything. So, Searcher, Spell, Trap, Birth. This card is absolutely broken. 3 effects. Any card that has 3 effects is really good. What this card does, you can normal summon a level 7 monster once per turn. During your, you can normal summon level 7 monsters without tributing. So for your normal summon, you can just summon one of these without having to tribute. You can special summon 1 Kashtira monster that is banished or in your graveyard. Works really good with Adventure, because you can discard them for Fateful, then bring them back with this. And when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, you can just banish 3 cards from their graveyard face down. And of course, this works really good against the Shizu, and also works really good with the boss monster. So any other card you can just search for. I don't want to take too much time on the profile, but this is the main idea of the deck. The main idea is to block your opponent's entire field so that they cannot play. Okay, next up we have a bunch of utility cards. We have the Astral Karibo, and we have the Ascended of Thunder. So, Astral Karibu, what it does, you can reveal a number Xyz monster in your extra deck, and what we reveal is the Diablosis, the Mind Hacker. It becomes level 7, then you can Exceed Summon with it, and then you are free to play and not locked into number monsters. So this is just a great extender to have, and it also protects the monster from being destroyed by card effect or battle, which is also great. Ascendant of Thunder, you pay 3,000 life points, special summon this from your hand, now once per turn, level 7. The whole point of this deck is a level 7 turbo. Yeah. Then we have the Adventure Engine, which also works really good because the big monsters are level 7. So we have, of course, 3 Enchantress, 3 Aramis here. We have, of course, the Faithful. We have the Draco back, and we have the Griffin, obviously, level 7, and the Illegal Knight, who is also level 7 and a really good card on its own. So the Adventure package works really, really well here. Then we have the Dogmatica package. 1 Ecclesia, 1 Fluor, 2 Nadir Servant, and 1 Punishment. This is just a small package to protect your field and push through more cards. A free special summon doesn't contradict with Rite of Aramis here and stuff like that. Removal and draw with the right cards from the extra deck, and I'm really enjoying just like a small 5-card package. I actually don't have a 3rd Nadir Servant, this is why I'm only playing this amount, but I think this works really, really well. Then we have some utility. We have, of course, a Terraforming for a Necro Valley. This deck doesn't need a graveyard almost at all. You can also slap this down at the end of your turn if you're going first. So you can definitely abuse this card. 1 Fissure. Just came back to 3. I own only 2, but to be honest, I wouldn't play 3 in this deck. This, if you draw this is great. I definitely don't want to break on this card. And I think 1 is fine just to stun your opponent. And of course, we play that together with one of the best cards in the format, which is obviously Dimension Shifter. Then we play 3 Sacred Swords of 7 stars. And this card is basically a trade-in for level 7s. You banish level 7 and draw 2 cards. And the good thing is, the nice thing, of course, is that if you have Kashtira Birth and let's say a Unicorn in your hand, this is a part of your hand, you can just go Sacred Sword, banish the Unicorn for cost, draw 2 cards, and then activate Birth, special summon the Kashtira Unicorn from the banished. So just like really, really good synergy. Of course, this is a draw power for level 7, so you are going to play this in this deck. This is the main deck, 40 cards. Kashtira, sorry, what? Yeah, extra deck. Playing 2 Shangri-La, 2 Mind Hacker. So just like a small explanation on why this card is so good. And definitely, if you do want to consider playing this deck, you should pick this up right now because this is going to get expensive. It's already quite pricey. Again, I think this card also has 3 effects. It's a big body, 2 levels of the monsters, it's rank 7. Once per turn, and soft once per turn, so if you can get multiples of this doubles up. You can detach 1 material from this card, look at your opponent's extra deck, banish 1 card from there, face down. Then, if a card is banished face down, you can banish cards off the top of your deck equal to the number of cards they already have banished face down. So what will happen is that you get these 2 on the field, right? 1 copy of each. You can detach a card from this, banish a card face down from your opponent's extra deck, and then lock a zone your opponent controls. Then what you do is a card was banished face down, so you activate the second effect. This banishes another card, or if they have more, another, let's say they activated Prosperity, you can banish just 6 because this is the number that you control face down, and then Shangri-La triggers again, because this is now once per turn. You already lock 2 zones on your turn 1. This is the combo basically that I'll show you. And then once they activate another effect on their turn, you lock 2 more, they're left with only 1. So this is the, this is the gist of the deck. This is what the deck does. This is why it's so good. Then we have some generic level 7 support. We have the Titanic Moth that can attack directly and go into Zeus. Harmonize, what? Number 76, Harmonizer Gradiel. This card is a quick effect, shuffle back from your opponent's graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, you attach it to this card, so it's really good anti-Tearlament stuff. Zeus, obviously. Then for the links, which you will probably never go to, IP, Dark, Unicorn, Access Code, and BLS, because of course you do have a lot of level 7s. And then for the Nadir Servant, we are playing 2 Ents and Garura. Besides the Xyz monsters, you don't really go into the extra deck at all, because the games don't usually last a long time. So what I do want to show you right now is a really perfect hand. I'll be biased. This deck is not tier 1, but I just want to show you what this deck can actually do when it is going first. Right, so let's take this hand as a case study, because this hand, this card is a 3, this card is a 3, this is a 3, this is a huge engine, so you might actually get to play with a lot of these. So, of course, the first thing you want to do is get the Kashtira Fenrir. In this scenario, when we already have Birth, you can just get the Ogre instead of the Unicorn, because you already have the spell, and this can get you the trap card. Let's lay our hand right down here. So what you will do here is go for a Birth. So the Birth lets me normal summon this, but if I do want to activate Rite of Ramesir, I have to wait. So what I'm going to do is first of all banish the Enchantress, get myself the Rite of Ramesir. I'll activate the Rite of Ramesir and get myself a token on the board. You do want to mind your zones while playing, because you're going to run out of zones really, really quickly. Cool, this goes to the graveyard. We have the token, and we also, of course, get the Fateful Adventure. Now, we activate Fateful Adventure to search for a copy of the Griffin, and we discard the Ogre to the graveyard. Then we can go for Birth, special summon the Ogre, activate the Ogre effect, get ourselves a copy of the Preparation. So the Preparations lets you summon as a quick effect from your hand or banished Kashtira monsters, and if your opponent activates a trap card or effect while you have a Kashtira monster, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from there face down. So we got a special summon, Fateful Adventure, to grab the Draco back. Right, so at this point what we can do is go for the Astral Karibo. We're going to reveal the Mind Hacker, summon it, it becomes a level 7, and then we can just immediately go for the Kashtira, go for the number 89. Now we can detach the Ogre here, banish a card face down from our opponent, then we can summon the Griffin Rider. You can keep this if you want, but here it's really, really better if you just use it as a level 7 and go into the Shangri-La. You would, of course, want to put this in your extra monster zone, just because you're going to run out of zones really, really quickly. And then what you can do is just like, get this, get whatever you want from your deck, basically. If you want the Fleur de Lis, you can get that, or the Dogmatica Punishment. This could be an extra negate, which is good. Draco back can go here, and in your standby phase, you're going to activate the Shangri-La. Here you would get probably the Fenrir. Now when your opponent activates a monster effect, they're going to lose 2 additional zones, because one, you're going to banish a card face down, then this will trigger, and this will trigger, then this will trigger again. So your opponent's going to be left with 2 zones, and you're going to have an additional 3 interruptions and good follow-up for the next turn as well. So yeah, this is the basic weird kind of combo. You can open really good hands with this deck. This is just an example of something that you can do that is really, really explosive, and how to utilize all of these engines together into one piece. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this one. Leave a comment down below if you liked it, and if you do play this deck, what are your tech choices and what build are you currently playing? Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.